This week in the field, turning an uninspiring sunrise into a scouting opportunity. Hi everybody, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome to In the Field. So this week it's talking about scouting and kind of making an opportunity out of what was otherwise an uninspiring outing. I'd gone out to do some sunrise photos. The tide was reasonably high at the ocean, so I was looking to get some waterfalls spilling over a few of my favorite spots along the San Diego coast. And it just didn't work out that way. The waves were not high enough. The tide was high, but the waves were just flat. And so nothing was really going on. So instead of banging my head against that virtual photographic wall of trying to make something happen that wasn't going to be there, I changed gears and started doing some scouting and just started walking up and down the various areas of this coast and ended up finding a pretty nice spot I had been many years ago, hadn't revisited in a while, and it turned out to be an excellent scout. So let's take a look at the maps and a little bit of the footage from where I ended up. Here's San Diego downtown. La Jolla Peninsula is right up over here. Peninsula, that's not really the right term. La Jolla lump of land right over here. So I was kind of working my way around this area of La Jolla. And let me switch this over into satellite view. So I mentioned that the tides were pretty good. I wanted to get some of the wave crashing over, in particular Hospital Point. I hadn't shot there in a while. It just wasn't happening. So started scouting around, ended up walking quite a far ways north, and started overlooking South Casa Beach and Wipeout Beach in particular. So I ended up kind of right around this area here. Let me rotate this around, switch into 3D mode, and kind of looking back down toward the rocks that I was planning on shooting. But what was really nice is that all of these green areas here were blooming with seasonal wildflowers. Let's have a look out in the field. It's about a half hour before sunrise. Clear blue sky, very low surf, not a whole lot happening at all. So today's outing is going to be a challenge to come away with something nice. Is about as boring as it can get. Of course, the foreground's great, but the surf, really flat. The sky, very dull. I've got about a half an hour before the sun's coming up. I'm out on the northern side now, very far north, and right dead center here is the cliff that I was standing along right over in here. This has certainly given me a better vantage. I've got this nice looking building here on the peak, so that's got some good, overall just a nice composition. Now the sun's going to be coming up to camera left, as you see it here right now. This is not bad. A little bit more footwork to get this framed up. What I've noticed as I climbed up over the tops of these is, see all these green patches here? I'll zoom in a little bit. These have all got natural flowers in them right now. They're actually blossoming. There's a couple of those behind me, so I'm going to try to work those as a foreground element into the scene. And this is something I can work with, I think, yeah. So this is the frame up. It's going to end up being a very pleasing shot. Nice interest in the foreground, and I'm hoping that the light will illuminate these nice little yellow flowers here. Nice cliff line in the back. Color of the ocean's not too bad either as the sun's starting to rise up. So all in all, this is shaping up to be pretty good. I just need to move around a little bit, fine-tune the composition, and wait for the light. So I'm set up at f16. ISO's really low, 50, as low as this camera will go. I want everything to be nice and crisp, no noise. And that you can see the framing there. So in the video, the sky is most likely blown out, but that is actually within range. So the Sony A7R is picking all that up without a problem. And in aperture priority mode, letting the camera do the metering, so it's giving me a little less than 2 seconds right now. And that's nice. It'll make the ocean a little bit softer, but is very calm. So these foreground little leaves here, particularly this purple plant, they are very still. So even at 1.6 seconds, I'm not worried too much about having motion in the foreground. So the tip of the week is to keep scouting in mind, or in this case, abandoning what my intended outing was going to be all about and just turn it into a scouting event. Now, that certainly works well for places that you can frequent often, but thinking about it, even in this case, if I were just somewhere for a day, I'd gone out early in the morning, didn't get what I was hoping for, did some scouting, and found a great spot for a sunset. And so that would be workable if I were in a location for just a day. Go back to that same area and be able to do something at sunset. Assuming, of course, I didn't have a different sunset place picked out, but you know how travel goes. Always good to have options, always good to keep your options open, and anytime scouting can help you widen your set of options, that's a good thing. That does it for this week's In the Field. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. Send in your questions. Love getting your questions. If you've got a question about camera settings or gear things, as I'm recording this, I'm realizing I'm forgetting to talk about the camera and the setup as much as I am about the location and the composition. So if you've got specific questions around camera settings, send those in. They'll help me remember to add that in when I'm out in the field taking the behind the scenes footage. Well, until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Happy shooting.